Berserk? It's pretty cool. Aside from being my favorite manga of all time, it's also one of the greatest and most influential manga ever. So why hasn't it had a good anime? This is something Berserk fans have been saying for a while, but it was especially talked about back when that God-forsaken 2016 anime came out. Throughout its lifetime there has been multiple anime adaptations, some bad, some even worse, but one thing they all have in common is that none of them are good. But I disagree. I think that the Berserk 1997 anime was a great adaptation and even more one of the best anime from the 90s. Now it might seem like I'm chatting shit here, but I'm really not. Berserk 1997 is a great anime and only recently has been getting the respect it deserves, so I'm just here to add on to that and to tell you why Berserk 1997 is the best anime of all time. I guess. Like and subscribe, nigga. Released in 1997 and simply titled Berserk, it was a 25-episode anime based on the manga of the same name. It follows our main character Guts as he joins a band of mercenaries and deals with a whole lot of fuck shit. Now let me just get this out of the way. Some people like to discredit the anime because it doesn't fully adapt the manga, it instead changes certain moments and leaves out certain parts. And yeah, this isn't good. But I think it really just depends on how you watch it. I feel like this anime shouldn't be watched to replace reading the manga, it should instead just be seen as something on the side, just a different way to enjoy the story. See, me personally, my first introduction to Berserk was with the anime, and I'm glad it was. I knew about Berserk for a while, but watching the anime actually got me to read the manga, but I made the mistake of trying to continue on from the anime. See, back in 1997, the anime was only given 25 episodes. This means that they didn't have enough time to flesh out certain characters and arcs, and instead of attempting and failing, they just left it out entirely. So when I continued on with the manga, I was lost. Why the fuck did I say it like that? In the end, I just restarted from chapter 1, which ended up being the right choice, but even just seeing the differences from the anime while reading the manga was another level of enjoyment. It's still a great form of Berserk even if it's not a one-for-one copy. Now that that's all out of the way, it's time for me to actually review Berserk 1997. As I mentioned before, the story left out certain things, but it did help out the anime. It gave more time to focus on the things it did have, and they ended up being well thought out and developed. This anime shows all sides of Guts' character, his sadness, his anger, and even his happiness. Guts is a real person in this anime, and it makes watching him go through the shit that he goes through even more heartbreaking. Griffith in this anime is peak. I'm trying to make this spoiler free, so to say the least, his downfall was shown perfectly, and the little bit of femto we did see was interesting, and it made me angry. Fuck Griffith, nigga. Casca is one of the best female anime characters of all time, and not just based off 90s anime, just in general. Her relationship with Guts was beautiful, but even apart from that, watching her character development and growth as a person was fantastic. The Band of the Hawk in general is just well written. The way they interact with each other just shows how much they've bonded and how much they mean to each other. The villains, they're all pretty cool. The episode where Zod showed up really changed the anime. It was the beginning of Berserk no longer being about medieval mercenaries, but about all the mystical evil demon shit. Speaking of, the glimpse of the God Hand we did see was cool as fuck. When I was reading the manga, I was waiting for them to show up just because of how cool they seemed in the anime. One thing that I have to mention is that this anime has an amazing English dub. The voice actors gave it their all, and you can tell by the amount of emotion put into every line. And what helps the brilliant voice acting is the S-tier music. I know Guts' theme is iconic at this point, but even apart from that, all the other background music in this show is perfect. It fits the scenes perfectly and helps add a different vibe to this anime. The art style is kind of interesting. The color palette and backgrounds in Berserk make it feel nostalgic. It adds a special feel to the anime that not many others have. Now my thoughts on the actual animation is kinda complicated. When it's actually animated, it looks pretty good. The combat is smooth and it flows quite nicely, but sometimes it's not. I noticed that fight scenes tend to have a still image of a movement or action and there's something going on in the background. I'll play an example here. Sometimes it looks good and actually improves the scene, but sometimes it looks janky and just comes off as lazy. There are a few fight scenes where the same animation is repeated, or the still image thing happens, but most of the time this doesn't ruin the actual fight scene. The animation isn't the greatest, but I still enjoyed it, so... Berserk 1997 is beautiful. If you haven't interacted with Berserk, then watch it now, and if you read the manga but haven't watched this, then watch it. It's one of the best ways to relive Berserk, and it hits every story beat perfectly. God bless Berserk 1997, nigga. Phantasy Star Online video soon, real soon. Sooner than you think. Shit, it might be out right now. Subscribe and like, watch Berserk. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oh yeah, just allow the 10 seconds of background music. I'm trying to get this video to 5 minutes. Ooh.